Hello, I'm Andy, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through Keyword Insights, what it does, and how it can help you build topical authority at scale. Before we jump into the demo, it's worth setting the scene, especially with how search and AI are evolving. These days, it's not just about having a single great page on a topic. Whether we're talking about Google's algorithms or large language models like ChatGPT, both are pulling signals from multiple sources to form a complete picture. They don't just look at one page in isolation. They pull from entire websites, multiple guides, and structured internal links to figure out who are the true experts in this space. So, if your site covers a topic with 20 well connected, in depth pages and your competitor only has one, you're going to have a much better shot at ranking, being cited by AI tools, and showing up in all the places that matter. And that is why building topical authority has become such a critical part of SEO and LLM optimization. And that's exactly what Keyword Insights helps you to do quickly and at scale. Let me show you how it works. So, rather than going through the tool in a really abstract way, I'm going to walk you through it using a real world example, a small plumbing and heating business in London. It's just a simple scenario to make things tangible, but the process you'll see here applies to any business, whether you're running a local service, a global e-commerce brand, or everything in between. As we go through it, just picture how this would work in your niche. All right, cool. So with this plumbing business, we want to rank for everything to do with plumbing in this local area. So we plug our domain into something like Ahrefs or SEMrush or any of the other big SEO tools, and we can see, they're starting to shoot up, but we're not ranking for much. So how can we quickly become a topical authority scalably and at a reasonable cost if we're this small business? And that's really what Keyword Insights was designed to do. So the first place I start is I would jump into the tool and head to Keyword Discovery. Now, our Keyword Discovery lets you just put in a keyword and we'll find loads of similar keywords to it. So in this example, I've put plumbing London, United Kingdom, English, and we'll hit go. Now, while this runs, let me just tell you a little bit about our Keyword Discovery. We've realized that we can't compete with all the massive tools in terms of the size of their database. They're just humongous and they pay a lot of money for it. But what we can compete in is giving you keywords that are fresher than theirs by pulling from different sources. And so what you'll see here is we're actually pulling from Google Autocomplete, Quora, People Auto Ask. There's soon going to be other places we pull from that are new and fresh. And if you know anything about Google, you'll know that these can change pretty much every day. If something starts trending, something new will come up here. So in this example, Plumbing London probably doesn't have much variation in terms of things that are blowing up in the news. But, and apologies for the slight tangent, if I look at something like Cucumber, it shows you just how different our tool can be. Now, you won't know this at the time that this video is being recorded. A few months ago in Iceland, which you can see here, there was a national shortage of cucumbers because they all sold out when a TikTok went viral. Now, there wasn't many keywords around it because it only went viral for that week. And by definition, keyword databases are based on historical data, right? But if you look at what our tool pulled when you go into it, we can see here that all of the massive, we got all of the keywords basically. Addicting cucumber recipe TikTok, cucumber Asian salad TikTok. We pulled loads of them, and they're all technically zero volume because this is querying a database that has historical data, and historically it doesn't have any. But the fact it's in our database means it's not in our database. We're pulling this live from when you searched it. So you can see here, we're pulling trending keywords that's happening right now. And we're pulling from different sources that your big SEO tools normally have keywords from. So coming back to our plumbing example, you can see here, we've pulled 760 keywords and we've pulled from all these different resources. And you can scroll down and see exactly where they are. We can get the search volume for them if we want. And this is where we'll query the same databases that they have. And what we're trying to say is, if you don't have any other SEO tools, this is a really good place to start. It's got probably the most important keywords and then some of those trending ones I just said. But if you do have access to other tools, this is just a really good supplementation of them. It works really well with that data. So when we go through the other features of this, it works well by combining your research from our tool with your research from other tools. So I've got Plumbing London, and I might start putting a few more in. So if I jump back, I might do Heating London, or I might do Boiler Installation London. I'd go through each of those keywords and pull a big data set from sources that the other people aren't pulling from. The other really powerful part of our keyword discovery tool, which you don't get from the other tools, is the ability to API into your Search Console. Now, if you've ever been in your Search Console before, you'll notice that you can only ever pull the last 1,000 keywords. And it's really valuable data because it's often keywords that keyword research tools don't have, because It's the things the weird and wonderful things people are typing into Google for your site to show up. And if you've set up Search Console and you go into it, you can only get access to the last 1,000. Our API gives you access to however many keywords you've ever had. It could be 40,000. And it's really cool because let's say each of your keywords has like 5 impressions or 10 impressions or 2 impressions, keywords you don't normally ignore. Like, why are you going to create content around a keyword that only has 5 impressions? It's not until you cluster them that sometimes you see all these keywords with 5 impressions and 10 impressions. Actually, the sum of them is like 1,000 impressions. And now all of a sudden it's worth writing that content. And it's brilliant because normally competitors don't have that content because keyword research tools never had those keywords to begin with because they all think they're 0 or low volume. It's not until you've clustered them that you can see the value of all of them together. So combining the keyword discovery Search Console with the clustering is an incredibly powerful thing you can do. Incidentally, and a slight tangent again, you can do the same thing with Reddit. You can pull loads of questions from a given subreddit. So there's probably a plumbers one. Yep, there is. There's a plumbers subreddit, and I could scrape all the questions from here, and there's videos on how to do that, so I won't go into it here, but I could scrape all the questions, and when you cluster them together, you actually start to see that the same question on Reddit keeps getting asked time and time again. Because you can imagine if you put yourself in the mind of someone who's gone to ask the question on Reddit, they've gone there because they can't find the answers to their questions elsewhere online because keyword research tools don't have them. And so when you pull them all and cluster them, you start to spot all these incredible content ideas that just no one's writing about. Anyway, at this point, you've gone through and added your keyword discoveries. You've maybe combined it with your Search Console data. And you can see I've just ran 3 here. If I go in, you can see how many keywords each has got: 762, 172, 1,136. And this is where clustering is going to become really powerful. If I go into it, you can see it's just I'll get the search volume of these. It's just an unorganized mess. Like, there's just so many keywords here. I don't really know how many pages I need to create, which is my first problem. But as I said, I also might want to get the data from other tools. So if I jump into Ahrefs again, what I might go is I might say, look, I'm going to choose the biggest player in this industry and grab all their keywords. So for me, I would just type in, I don't know, plumbing London. And then I'm going to grab this domain here. Just grab that one, copy it, paste it straight into Ahrefs here. Again, any SEO tool that does this will work. And I'm just going to grab keywords. I like to be selective because Keyword Insights will charge you per keyword. So I'm just going to give all the ones that are non-branded. And sometimes if I'm only interested in the transactional commercial terms, I might tick them. But for this, I guess, demo, I also want to get the informational ones to grow my blog out. So I'll click apply and then I'll click show results. So now I've got a manageable amount of keywords and I'm going to export that. I'll do the same with a few others. So I'll come back, or I could just hit back in Ahrefs and go organic competitors. I want the United Kingdom in this example. And there's a really good few competitors here that I can harvest for keywords. So this one looks like it's got loads. Let's have a quick look at them. Okay, so they do drains. It's a bit maintenance, so I'm probably not going to go for them. Drain Doctor. I know that's going a bit broad, but it's something that we offer as our local plumbing. We do Drain Doctor stuff. So let's grab all those keywords as well. So I'm going to dump that into Ahrefs. And I'm going to do something similar by filtering out any of the non-branded ones that we rank in only positions 1, 2, let's go 30. Let's get a few more this time, 34, and show the results. So there's 2,143 keywords, and I'll grab them as well. And I'll do this for a few. I'll go through and maybe do 5 or 6 competitors and build up a really good keyword list. Okay, so in this example, I've just got 2 exports. And when you open them up, and this is part of the problem, it's just a mess of keywords. There's so many here, and I don't know. If this was my site that I'm working on, I don't know which of these keywords need to be in a blog, which need to be in a service level page. I really don't know how to start. Which of these should all be together as well? If I look at these, some of these keywords, clog drain, and there's probably like drain clogs. They're probably, I don't know, do they all need to be together? There's just so much to work through. And as I was alluding to earlier, that's where the clustering module comes in. So you can head over to the clustering, which is just here on the left-hand side. And we'll create a project for it. So we're going to call this London Drains. There's all sorts of advanced settings we can get into, which makes us the most powerful clustering tool on the planet, but I'm not going to go through that on this video. I want to get my rankings because it's going to allow me to filter for all of the pages that I don't rank for And basically that means that I don't have a page for. So it's going to very quickly show me my content gaps, which is really cool. So I've just popped my domain in here and I want the search intent. So the search intent is going to tell me what type of page I need to create. So for all those keywords, do I need a service level page like plumbers near me? Or is it a blog page like how do I unblock my toilet? All of those things which make becoming a topical authority really important. Cool. So we're going to click next. And then this is the beauty. All those exports, and I've only done 2 in this example, but I could have done 20. I'm just going to click here and really quickly upload them all really simply. So I'm going to go this one and this one. But then do you remember all the keywords I pulled from our own keyword discovery module over here? I'm going to easily add them just by clicking keyword discovery and then adding those boiler repair keywords, the boiler installation London keywords, and the plumbing London keywords. So it's really easy just to whack all those lists in. And all we're going to ask you to do, which is why you can export from various sources. You could have exported from whatever tool. You could export from 20 different sources. You don't need to go into each file and manipulate it. Just upload them. All we're going to ask you is for the keyword and the volume. We actually have a keyword difficulty metric built in, but if you want to use the one that your tool gives you, just toggle that on. And then you can also select the keyword difficulty column there as well. So we're just asking you to map the keyword and the volume. Now, we'll automatically delete all the duplicates for you. So as I said, really, really simple to just go in and bosh a load of keywords in here. Cool, I've deleted the keyword discovery ones just because I want to run a smaller file for the purpose of this demo, but you'll click summary and then we'll hit go and you'll probably just look at it, confirm it, and you're going to go away now and have a cup of tea and we'll jump straight back into it and show you how quickly it is that we can now produce all the content we need for this site to make it rank for everything, including service level pages and all the blogs and everything in between. Nice one. So it's finished. It finished in about 40 minutes and I'm going to click into it. And this is the view that you get. Now there's loads of stuff you can do here. Again, I'm not going to go through a video on just this. There's a whole video on just the clustering module on its own. I mean, you can export it, you can do all that, but you'll mainly be working in here. And what it's done is you see all those, what were we on? 3,678 keywords. It's grouped them into 1,601 clusters. So it's turned that massive list into, hey, look, these are the pages you need. Each one of these keyword cluster cards, we call them, is a page that you need. And there's 1,601 of them. And you can do loads of things. You can basically drop down and filter as you like, or you can click on one of our pre-done filters. So let's say we wanted to quickly create, I don't know, new commercial content ideas. So basically new service level pages, or if you're an e-commerce store, this would be new category pages or whatever it might be. I'll click on that. And if I look at it, what it's done is it's filtered for all the keyword clusters that we don't rank for, where the intent is commercial. And so that's why in the earlier stages, it was really important that you select the intent switch and you put in your domain for ranking. So we're cross-checking that. And so these are all basic industry pages that we really want to have. And so we might have local HVAC repair. So if this plumbing company also does HVAC repair, I want a page on that. And you can see it's commercial. If I clicked on this, it gives me a bit more information about why we've deemed it commercial. But I could be like, yeah, actually, I want that page. And I could just scroll down here, click on here, and we'll get into the writing assistant a bit later and why it's so much better than every other AI writer out there. But essentially, we're like, yeah, I want a page on this. Now, we know it's commercial, so we don't want a long form article. So we're going to click landing page. We want a landing page that sells us as local HVAC repair. And I want it in a first person, because it's like we will do HVAC repair for you. We will do this. And I'm going to use my own insight. So I'm going to say guaranteed to be the cheapest, or will beat every quote. Anything that is unique to me, we'll make sure that when we write the page that talks about this, we'll bring in your unique original insights into that. So I've just given it 2 things here. We will beat any quote by 10%, and we were the first in the country at HVAC. And I'm going to auto write article, and it's going to go away in the background. And as I said, we'll go into the writing assistant in a second, but it's going to do a load of research, and it's going to look at all the top results, and it's going to formulate the best version of the landing page that will rank based on entities and topics that already are on Google. It'll look at Reddit, it'll look at Quora, it'll pull all that information in, it will add those little things I've just given it, and it will write that landing page for you. Here's another one I just want to show you, Plumbers Fraserburgh. And It might be that, you want a landing page for Plumbers Islington, Plumbers King's Cross, all these different areas, and you want to rank for each, I guess, service in a location. We're going to create all of them as well. And let's just say I've done a better job of the keyword research and I'd uploaded better keywords in here. I just go through and create each one. And to be honest, even if you don't have every location, you only need one, because then you can sort of use that to duplicate that style across all of them. So I'm going to make that a landing page as well. I'll add those same insights. I won't do it on this one. And I'll just auto generate article on this one as well. So I'll jump back in shortly and show you what those pages look like, but you can also do all your blog content. And here you might click on new content ideas and gaps. And similar thing, I'm going to come down here and say like, okay, blocked toilet or dishwasher not draining. I want an article on that. So these are all the keywords that can rank on that one page. But the one that we've highlighted green is the one that we think would be the best keyword out of this set to send to our writing assistant. So I'm going to click on here. And this time I'm going to leave it as long form article. It depends on how your guide is set up. Now, we're living in a world right now where people want first-hand experience, so we might have I, we. But for the purpose of this, I'll put you. Like, this is what happens when you've done it. And again, you might want to add your own insights here. You're, in theory, an expert of this. And to rank on search engines, and a problem with all the other AI writers out there is they just regurgitate what else is out there, you can include your own insights here. And even if you aren't an expert in this area, you can do something cheeky. You can go onto YouTube and type something, how to unblock your toilet, find a genuine expert like this guy, grab the URL here, put it into something like a YouTube transcript puller, and extract the transcript, and then copy all of this and dump that in here. Now, we only allow 5,000 characters, so you might want to put this into something like ChatGPT or another LLM and just basically ask it to shorten it or summarize it. But you want to paste that into here, and then you can auto write the article based on that. So I'm gonna drop that in, and again, that's going to feed into the article, and this is a long form article that it generates. Now, whilst we're waiting for them to run, I'm going to quickly show you some of the other cool things you can do in here. But there is a dedicated video on everything you can do here. But you can click on easy to rank clusters. Now, these are keyword clusters that we think are not going to be very difficult to rank for, and so probably the easiest to spin up content for. You could also go on striking distance keywords, and these are the keyword clusters you're narrowly missing off on top rankings for, and you can go in and basically make it better. So there's not many for here, because this, as we saw at the beginning, this is quite a new, quite an underdeveloped domain that we're trying to work on. But you can see here our average rank is 22 for this one, or 22.62. So we're just on page 2 or 3 for these keywords. And to be honest, I could do two things. I could just jump in and maybe see what it is, or I could generate an article on this one. So this is a transactional one, so I'm going to make it a landing page. I could generate an article on this one and basically swap out whatever I've got. I mean, this is the homepage, so it's probably going to have some content on that I should bring onto my homepage, which is really valuable insight. What I can also do is view like competitive visibility. So where I am compared to my competitors for the given keywords that I've uploaded, which is really powerful because you can scroll down and see the clusters of keywords that they're ranking for that you're not. You can view it as a graph, and you can see where you're benchmarking there, or a Venn diagram to see what the overlap in the content they have is. So these are really good for putting in presentations, especially if you're an agency, to say like, this isn't a good example because we don't really rank for anything, but let's say we did rank for something. We could be like, look, we're ranking 5th for this topic, and we would want to become a topic authority, and we're only 5th, so we need to do some more work. To go slightly off tangent, here's an example of a domain we've done this with where you can see why it's powerful. So we did keyword research for the topic of keyword research, confusingly. So you can see all these keyword clusters are to do with keyword research. And we used the domain Ahrefs, which is a keyword research tool. And if I jump into the competitive visibility tab, Ahrefs is an SEO tool. So they should really, and they really do want to be dominating this topic, but they're only 4th. And there's actually some non-SEO tools beating them for the topic of keyword research. So it's like, why topically are they better than us? And we can drill into that and see what clusters they're ranking for that we're not. And so it's really powerful in that sort of pitch deck, or even if you're giving this to stakeholders to say, look, our goal, our KPI is to make us 3rd by December or whatever, and drilling into exactly what content they have that we don't, that we can, I guess, capitalize. So as you've seen, we make it super easy for you to just dump in a load of keywords, filter for the ones that you want pages written about, and then send it to our writing agent. There are other features in this tool. So as you're scanning down here, you might have seen that we've got SERP Similarity, SERP Analyzer, and we've actually got Writing Assistant and Content Brief. You can also send it to any of them just by clicking here and send it there. And I'll quickly run through those features now, but I think it makes more sense to spend time on the writing agent because it's the cleverest part of the whole tool. So as I said, you can send them from the clustering straight to the content brief, or you can, let's say if you hadn't done the clustering part of this workflow, you can just come in here and enter a keyword here. Incidentally, that is the same for every one of our features. You can use them all independently of each other. You don't have to have used the keyword discovery to use the clustering. You don't have to have used the clustering to use the writing agent or the content brief. You can use each independently of one another. Anyway, in the brief, I can just enter my keyword here, or I can create a bulk order. Now, I'm not going to spend too long in here because most of you will probably be using the writing agent and not the brief. But it's interesting to show you the brief to show you how the logic of how our writing agent is different to all the other writers out there. So for this keyword here, how to unblock a toilet, you'll see what our brief has gone and done is scraped all of the top results and put all the headings in here. It's looked at Reddit, all the headings. It's looked at these and all the headings. And we've, pulled from Reddit, Quora, we pulled from People to Ask. And the goal here originally was, before the writing agent, you could scan down here and build a really good brief just by coming in here and starting to add the various headings you want. Basically, your goal would be to make the best version out of everyone else's. We now have this button here where you can auto-generate outline. And if I click this, it's going to scan all of these headings for me. It's going to look at Reddit, Quora, People to Ask, and put together a pretty good first version of what an outline should be. So in about 30 seconds, it's done this really good outline. It's got all the headings in here. I can also generate the metadata. Now, the reason I wanted to show you this is because this is different to having another ChatGPT wrapper, because we are actually going out and doing research. Our bots are going out, crawling the internet, crawling the top ranking pieces, crawling the Reddit in the Quora, looking at the topics and bringing that in. So it's not just an LLM that's, remembering something from whenever it was last trained, normally about a year or two ago. It's literally doing live research now and putting that brief together. And it's important contextually because when I show you the writing agent in a minute, it's really big differentiator between us and all the other AI writers out there. So let's jump into the writing agent now. So here we are, just directly in the writing agent or the writing assistant menu, but there is the agent and our traditional assistant. We're going to focus on the agent because the agent can do everything the assistant can plus more. And so if I walk you through this, then you can basically do everything in this one anyway. So again, like we saw earlier, you could just push these directly from the clustering module, or you could come straight in and type in a target keyword. So how to unblock a toilet. You'd add your location and language and the point of view. We went through all this when I went through the clustering, so we won't go through it again. And again, you choose the type of content. So this is obviously going to be a blog or a guide, so I'm going to keep it as long form article. But as you saw with the clustering, I can just select landing page 2. I can switch up the tone of voice. And most importantly, I can add my own insights. Now, as I've just shown you in the briefing module, unlike all of the other ChatGPT AI type wrappers, we actually go and do the research. We crawl, we look at those headings, we pull all of them in. And you saw that happening in real time when we looked at the brief. But then we also weave that with your own knowledge. Or as I showed you before, you can nick a transcript of something off YouTube and dump that in here so that you're actually generating not only well-researched content that has been pulled from all these various sources, but injecting this with your own original knowledge and thought too, giving you a well-researched piece with an original angle, which is super, super powerful and more likely to make you rank. So you could just dump anything here. So I've gone and added this little bit of first-hand knowledge around how I've been unblocking my toilets just using dish soap and hot water. It's a really effective method if you haven't done it. I've just dumped that in here, and then I'm going to click auto-generate article, and it's going to go and do the research and inject my own knowledge with that too. So it normally takes about 20 to 30 minutes. Again, it's not a ChatGPT, which can do it in 20 to 30 seconds. It does take longer, but then that's what you want it to do anyway. It's actually doing the research. So we'll jump back in about 20 minutes. Great. So finish running, and we're in here. Now, it's written everything. It's done the metadata for me. It's written what I think is a really good piece. It's actually done citations and links with data. So where it's mentioned data, it's actually linked to the source for me. It's done all of that on its own. It actually puts in tables and things if it thinks it needs a table. It does a lot more than just regurgitating a basic blog. It does all of these things. There's a various other things you can do here. Now, there's 3 tabs. So the research tab allows you to go and do more research. So you're reading this and you might go, I just want to double check we've made sure we've included everything. So you can scroll down here and you can view all of the top headings again. So you can just make sure that that's in here. You can see all of them. You can see the Reddit questions people have asked. So you might come down and add other FAQs and then look at some of these Reddit questions and make sure we've got them in there. So is it okay to pour boiling water down? Well, yeah, it is. So we could put other FAQs and let's give that into a heading 2. And then we'll just add, yes, is it okay to pour hot water down? Partially clogged toilet bowl filled. Let's just put that one in there. So we'll just not make that, we'll make that H3. And actually, this actually brings us nicely to the other tab we have, which is the writing tab. So this is where you can use AI to write anything else you want to. So, and flush this very quickly. So I could copy that and say, so I've just said, write a brief description for an FAQ, and I've just pasted that there. So it's just going to write that for me. Yeah, great. I could just paste that in there if I'm happy with it. And you could do this for anything, really. You could ask it to, like, you could copy parts of this and ask it to rephrase it. We've got some suggestions here as well. So you might be like, okay, this introduction is far too long. So we'll copy it all, and then we'll say paragraph compression, and it's going to just make a shorter version of that, which it's running now. There we go. And in a couple of seconds, it's just done a smaller intro for me by compressing it. Then finally, the other main tab, and the reason this is still a lot more powerful than using just ChatGPT or LLMs or something like Jasper to write your content, is we actually have an optimization grader here. And before I compressed it just now, it was a B. So let me just put that back. Okay, so I've reverted the changes. We're back to a B. And this is really the core part of our writing agent. It's going to write it in a way which is trying to optimize this to as close as possible as an A. And how we're grading it is as we've done the research, as we've pulled all the headings, as we've done all that, we're also pulling all the entities and topics that all of the competitors talk about. You can even click this and have a look. So you can see here's all the competitors. We can see these are all the entities they mention. And if we want to stand the best chance of ranking, we need to make sure we're covering all the important entities as well. If we're struggling to see how they've used an entity, we could even click on it. So toilet paper, we really want to mention it at least 3 times because on average, that's what they're using. And we can click into it and see how our competitors are using it, which can give us an idea about how we should be mentioning it. We also want to make sure that we're on par with our word count. Is the article, I guess, informative enough? And our writing agent will automatically ensure that it is. So that's why we don't let you really adjust the word count. We'll already optimize that. And are we using keywords in important places? Is it in the page title, the H1, the meta description? As we say here, it's semantic matching. So you don't have to put exact match keywords in here. If it's similar or semantically similar, we'll also count that as a keyword. And again, our writing agent, if you've used it, will write it in a way where those keywords are already optimized in the right places. From here, of course, you can export or you could publish straight into WordPress if you want to connect it to that. And as I showed when we were going through the clustering module, you can also use this to create landing pages, not just blogs. And so here's an example of one where we did plumbers Fraserburgh. And another, again, the great thing is because we're doing the research and scraping the entities, it's going to write this in a way which makes sure it includes all the important entities, all the important keywords. And so you've got a landing page here where you just need to swap out things like your phone number, and you can mass generate all those landing pages. So for this plumbing company, I can make one for Fraserburgh, for Hillsdon, for Cheltenham, for Gloucester. I could just spin them all out, and they're all going to include everything they need to hit those topics. You'll notice some nice touches as well. It even includes local expertise. So it talks about the older properties nearer the harbour and the newer developments around that place. I also ran this for Camden, and it acknowledged the fact that there was Victorian houses which required a different sort of plumber's knowledge. It included that in here as well. So really good for landing pages for blogs and just basically optimizing something based on what is actually ranking and not just what an LLM thinks should be ranking. Finally, we have 2, I guess, freemium tools, which is our SERP Similarity and our SERP Analyzer tool. So SERP Similarity is a bit like our keyword clustering in that you can upload 2 to 6 keywords clustering is obviously thousands of keywords, but in SERP similarity, 2 to 6 keywords, and it lets you quickly check how similar are the SERP results. Do I need 2 pages to rank for these keywords, or can I combine these keywords? A good example would be here. If I want to rank for how much is a plumber in the UK and how much is a plumber in London, can I target them on the same piece of content, or do I need 2 different pieces of content, each targeting those keywords? So we'll just check the similarity of those two. So interestingly, for those 2 keywords, the SERP results are only, they're 40% similar. So it's right on the boundary, and you might want to scan down and just have a look at the sort of things that are ranking. So how much is a plumber in the UK? This is a general article. Plumber podcast, this is general. These are all specific to London. So I think if this was your brand, you would create 2 pieces of content, one targeting that keyword and one targeting that keyword. Of course, you can do both of those very quickly using our writing agent. And finally, our SERP Analyzer, it's like having a VPN, but it's a lot more powerful. So if you want to check what the search results look like in different locations, on different devices, and you want more than the top 30, maybe you want the top 50, and you want a screenshot of that to send to your stakeholders, this is a really good, powerful tool as well. So I want to see what Emergency Plumbers London looks like on mobile and the top 50 results in London. Let's have a quick look at that. Okay, once that's finished running, I can scan down. I can see the top 50 results as I would see it, which I can send as a screenshot. I can also see it in this sort of view where, if I wanted to check for where a brand was ranking, I could just Control F and have a look. Where is my brand? I can also copy all this data if I want just the metadata and things, which I can send to a client. That's easy enough to do. And also, and most importantly, we have the SERP Analyzer, where actually we show you all the results, but let's just scan that down. But we also give you the domain authority, the word count, what type of intent it is, how difficult we think it's going to be, the kind of SERP features there, and the impact that those SERP features might have. So in this case, it's low. So it'd be quite a good keyword to go after, because the SERP features, and by that we mean, is there videos, is there ads, they're quite low. So if you rank organically, you should, in theory, get a lot of those clicks. And there you have it. So Keyword Insights is designed to help you become a topical authority, which will help you rank organically on search, but also get you cited more in things like AI. And hopefully you can see there is a complete workflow from this, like turning your massive keyword research into organized pages using the clustering, and then quickly generating actual content which is going to rank using our AI writing agent, which is different to anything else out there on the market, as well as using our other little freemium tools to really spot check how your content strategy looks. Do I need 2 pages or 1 with SERP similarity? And is it even worth going after this keyword with SERP Analyzer? There's also a ton of other really cool things you can do with Keyword Insights, especially the clustering module. So we only showed you from the perspective of dumping a load of keywords in and grouping them together to find out what pages exist. But if you go to our YouTube channel, there's so many other use cases we found for it. So for example, there's 2 videos on how you can solve keyword cannibalization on your site. And there's 3 videos on using Keyword Insights to find content ideas that your competitors don't have. If you jump into that, I'll quickly show you. So we've got doing content gap analysis. There's this framework that we call content fragmentation, and it's a way that you can outrank like big companies like Forbes and things. So that video goes into that. This one shows how you can use things like Reddit and things to find loads of cool ideas. So ton of other cool things you can do with keyword clustering that we didn't have scope for to cover in this video. Definitely go on the YouTube video if you want to see more there.